You know that feeling, right? You meet someone and it's like a switch flips in your brain. All of a sudden, you know practically nothing about them, but they're everything you can think about. It's intense, it's exciting, and let's be honest, it can be completely chaotic. Well, today we're going to dive into what that is lust. And it turns out there's a fascinating roadmap to it. I mean, who hasn't had this exact thought? It's that little moment of self-awareness when you just know this person is about to take up a whole lot of space in your head. It's such a universal feeling, that sudden, almost magnetic pull towards someone. And okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's get one thing perfectly clear. Feeling lust is not something to be ashamed of at all. It's a completely normal neurological process. It's basically your brain sending up a flare that says, hey, pay attention to this one. It's biology, plain and simple, not some kind of character flaw. So it turns out lust isn't just one big, messy feeling. It actually moves through four pretty distinct stages. We're going to walk through them all. First, that initial attraction, then infatuation, the climax, and finally, clarity. And trust me, understanding this journey is the absolute key to figuring out the difference between a temporary chemical rush and something that could be real, genuine compatibility. All right, let's start at the beginning. Stage 1, the spark. This is that split-second moment your brain hones in on someone and basically says, ooh, what's this? This is where the whole chemical roller coaster kicks off. So in this stage, your attention is just locked. It could be their laugh, the way they talk, anything. And what's wild is that your body gets in on the action way before your logical brain does. You might literally feel warmer, more alert. And the one thought running on a loop is just, I want to get closer to them. It's totally intoxicating because it feels so new. But, and this is a huge but, we have to be super clear here. That amazing spark, it doesn't mean you found your soulmate. It doesn't mean you're compatible. It just means your brain saw something shiny and new and went, I like that. And this leads to a really important question you can ask yourself right in this moment. Are you actually attracted to the real person in front of you? Or are you already falling for the exciting fantasy your brain has just started to write? So what happens next? That little spark catches, and we move into stage 2, the fire. This is where things really ramp up, and you're in the full-blown grip of infatuation. If the spark was lighting the match, well, this is the bonfire. You know you're here when the overthinking starts. You're replaying every conversation, analyzing their texts like you're a detective looking for clues. Every little thing feels huge. A quick smile feels like a promise, but a text that's left unread feels like a personal attack. What's happening is your brain is on a frantic chase for dopamine, and all that uncertainty just keeps fueling the fire. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Because you don't really know this person yet, your brain starts to fill in all the blanks. You're not just getting to know them, you're basically co-creating them in your mind based on like 5% real information. And from the fire, we hit stage 3, the peak. This is the absolute climax of intensity. Desire feels totally overwhelming. And, logic is pretty much left the building. Your thoughts, your emotions, your body, everything is dialed up to 11. At this point, desire is no longer a subtle hint, it's the main event. You feel this intense, powerful urge to impress them, to lock down their attention. And this is where things can get tricky, because your own boundaries can start to get a little blurry. You might find yourself ignoring red flags or making excuses for behavior you'd never normally accept, all because that desire is just so strong. So what is your brain even trying to do here? It's not thinking about long-term happiness or compatibility. Its goal is much simpler. It just wants relief. Relief from the constant wondering, relief from the ache of desire, and relief from the anxiety of not knowing where you stand. This brings us to probably the most crucial question you can ask in this stage. Are you actively choosing this person based on who they are, or are you just reacting to the sheer force of how badly you want them? Telling the difference between a conscious choice and a chemical reaction is everything. But that intense chemical rush can't last forever. Eventually, it has to settle down. And that leads us, thankfully, to stage 4, clarity. This is the moment the fog starts to lift, and you can actually see things as they are. So in the clarity stage, that fantasy filter you didn't even know you were wearing just disappears. And you start to notice all the stuff you might have been blind to before. Their actual communication style, not the one you imagined. How they really handle a disagreement. You start asking, do their actions actually match their words? And most importantly, Do I feel genuinely safe and respected with this person?
And this slide really breaks down the whole point of this explainer. See, chemical intensity is what pulls you in. It's all about fantasy and desire. And yeah, it often feels chaotic. But genuine compatibility, that's what helps you decide to stay. It's grounded in reality, it's focused on safety and respect, and it feels calm and regulated.
So really, the clarity stage is the big fork in the road. This is the moment where lust does one of two things. It either transforms into something deeper and more real, or once the chemicals fade, it just kind of fizzles out.
If you take away just one thing today, let it be this. Lust is about the feeling of desire. It's an automatic, powerful force. But clarity is about making a conscious choice based on the reality of who someone is.
In the end, understanding all of this isn't about trying to kill the excitement of that initial spark. Not at all. It's about giving you the power to navigate it. It lets you build connections that can be both thrilling and emotionally safe. You get to have both.
So as we wrap up, I'm curious. Listening to this, have you ever recognized yourself going through these stages? Maybe you can look back and see a time you got stuck in the fire of infatuation. Thinking about our own past experiences through this framework can be a really powerful way to understand ourselves better for the future.